promise to help each other, celebrate the joys of life, and to console each other.
Hello. I am sorry, but I must interrupt this show.
Leonard, you know what it is. Hey, Ham Solo. It's time, baby. Low. Let's turn out we do. Hey.
They said we said we hit. They said we said we on. They said we said we strong. They said we said we go. We say that you heard right. 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 They said we said we in. They said we said we on. They said we said strong. They said we said go. We say that you heard right. We say that you heard right. We say that you heard right. We say that you
Man, I swear that it's imminent. I've been going so hard on my penmanship. About to go in and buy me a wheel. And I pull that shit fresh off the dealership. I can leave you on red like an Xbox. Got me laughing at you like you Red Fox. Got you chasing Hot Wheels like a Matchbox. EA running the game and it don't stop. Super cold like I'm playing for Blizzard. Got you all in my sights like Red Dead Redemption. Never gonna slip on my pimpin'. Better get out my way, bitch, I'm on a mission. Really ain't no competition. I'm steady grilling opposition. I'm get up and ready to win. They can play it how they play, but fuck what you say. I'm getting this money today.
Last of Us like a dying breed. Down the ride like a noble steed. Fatality moves, I make you bleed. That's on any game, that's on any screen. Shut up and give me your money. They said we so lit. Even if I take an L, we coming back just to show that we don't quit. They said we said we hit. They said we said we on. They said we said we strong. They said we said go.
Yo, what's cracking, everybody? Welcome to the second episode that I got for you guys for the Xbox versus the Gamer show that we got popping on with you guys today. Thank you for coming out, those of you. Make sure you say what's up in the comments below in the chat. I know I had a different stream that was supposed to be popping off, and for whatever reason, it asked me to like make a stream in a different spot. So it just is what it is. But we're here. We're doing the damn thing. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys coming through to check out the show. Today I have with me Carlo, aka Italian Clowns, also known as Clowns. How you doing today, brother? How you doing? Thanks for being here.
What's up, man? Doing good. Pleasure being here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for sure. But we got a few things to talk about. There was some pretty interesting things that happened today that I thought that was pretty cool. I woke up today, right? Rolled over, looked at my phone and seen that there was a new game added to Xbox that was previously not there, that's been out since 2019.
Yep.
I gotta ask you before I even announce what the game is, are you even interested in it?
You know, I played it before, and I got to the point where I could pee, and I was like, this game is different.
So your cup of tea or not your cup of tea?
No, it's definitely not my cup of tea.
Fair enough. Well, Death Stranding, the game that I beat when it was on Game Pass on PC, finally made its way not just to PC, not just to PC for Xbox, but also to the console. And that's kind of exciting news for a lot of people that are that like Kojima, and they're waiting for OD to come out and whatnot for that to be the showcase thing for their console or whatever from Kojima. But instead, they get a little taste of Death Stranding first, which, I mean, I can't complain about it all. Like I said, I beat the game. I had a damn good time when I played it. When I first played it, I didn't like it, if I'm being real. I didn't like it the very first time I played it. I was just like, man, this walking ass simulator game, this is boring. But eventually, Loke had to hit me, which I'll be talking about him here just momentarily. But Loke hit me up and he's like, dude, just try it again. Give it at least like 10 hours and then come back to me and tell me that you don't want to keep playing it. So I went in. I'd say about the 3 to 5 hour mark is when it hit me. And I was like, yo, this game is actually pretty dope. This is fun. But it's not for everybody. I'm not over here begging you to play. I don't give a damn if you play it or not. And it's only $20. As of right now, it's on sale. So keep that in mind that it's on sale. It could go back up to $39.99, but right now it is $19.99 to be able to buy on Xbox, and it is a Play Anywhere title in case you guys didn't know. So once you buy it on Xbox, you'll have it on PC as well, which is nice. And then on top of it, I believe Xbox is supposed to be giving you the ability to play your own games that you own via the cloud here shortly. So that's another good addition to that outside of just, remote play. Are you looking forward to OD at all, Clowns? Or are you not a Kojima guy, or where are you at on just the whole idea of, Kojima games and Xbox and stuff like that?
Yeah, man, I'm just not a fan of Kojima. If that, I'm one of those that fall in that camp. And it's like the guy may be a genius and artist and some things, but I don't know. I just can't get into his games. And, I played Death Stranding for a little bit past the P point, but I was like, what is this? What am I even playing? So when I found out it was Shadow Drop to Xbox, I'm just curious if the same energy is going to be given to that game as it was when it was exclusive to PlayStation. Because if you remember,
I remember.
Everybody was like, "Yeah, nobody's going to play that. That game's terrible. The game's boring. It's like a walkathon, right?" But now I see those same people that complained are buying it in droves, and I'm so confused. Like the same energy is not being held here, and all of a sudden everybody is a Kojima fan. All the people that weren't Kojima fans woke up today and became Kojima fans. So I'm so confused.
I understand what you're saying. I will say, because Loke likes to say this a lot, you are allowed to change your mind. But I'll also say this. It is really interesting when you decide to change your mind. And for myself, I changed my mind prior to it going to Game Pass. And it's not in Game Pass now. Right? But I didn't really I changed my mind about it, but I still didn't really get into it until it was on Game Pass, because then it was available on my PC and I was able to play it at all the the high frame rates and everything like that. So that was hella dope to me. But yeah, I completely see where you're going, right? Because it's just like you didn't change it on a whim. You waited until it was literally on the console that you could play it on to change your mind, to actually be interested in playing the game. So I definitely see what you're saying with there's a lot of people out here they're more or less just happy that they're being noticed instead of actually liking the game.
Yeah, I mean that's how I feel, right? Like I'm not putting you in the same camp as the other people because you gave it 10 hours. You played it a second time.
I beat the game. I beat it.
So, but I'm talking to all those people that are just posting pictures, acting like they're buying the game, and now Kojima's biggest superstar fans, and I just don't understand it. And same reverse. I see what Sunrash says in the chat. No, people just change their mind too quickly because of a brand instead of actually liking the game, right? I just wish these people would be honest and be like, okay, I really have liked Kojima the whole time and I really want to play this game, instead of, Kojima's bad and this game is terrible. Say how you feel and stop changing your mind just because it goes to a specific brand. If Jalen Hurts went over to, I don't know, the Bears, I'm not going to be a Bears fan.
The Giants, baby. Bring in the Giants.
See, I would stay an Eagles fan, But hey.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, and I'm here with I'm listening and hearing what Spider-Man's saying right here. He said people are crying a lot.
They are.
People are.
That is true.
You know, and I think I feel like it's just like kind of, you know, I can be heard by you, so I'll make you hear me, and I'm gonna bitch and moan because I know you can hear me. It kind of seems like that's kind of the swag or like the energy that people are kind of going out with, whether it's this situation with Xbox or if it's Avowed, you know, like let's say Avowed comes to PlayStation, right? The same people that said that game looks like garbage on PlayStation will be the same people buying it day one.
Yep.
It's the same thing happened with Sea of Thieves just earlier this year.
Yep.
Sea of Thieves was the worst game I remember ever. Nobody would ever play that game, and it ended up being one of the highest selling games for PlayStation earlier this year. So yeah, it is what it is. Shout out to Jax82 in the chat. He says, I can admit Death Stranding did not grab me when I first played it on PlayStation. I'm going to give it another shot. There's a good story there. The same thing with Hellblade. Yeah. No. I am Jax82 pretty much. I played it for a little bit when I got it on my PS5 because I bought the game. I bought it on my PS5, and at first I didn't really enjoy it because I didn't really understand what was going on. And then on top of it, here's a big thing about that game. You cannot be in party chats and kicking it and talking with your boys while playing that game. You can't, because that game is all story. And if you're sitting there chatting and BSing, you're not going to have fun with that game. And that's what I did the first time. Second time I played it, I was all by myself. And then I was playing with one other person that was also playing the game. So we both were quiet. We were in the party chat together, but we're both quiet and just playing the game. And we'd just be like, whoa, and say something about a situation that happened within the game or something. But certain games are like that. And Hellblade's another game that's just like that. You ain't trying to be in a party chat with nobody when you're playing Hellblade 2. There's too much story to listen to and shit like that. You just don't have the time and plus with a game like Hellblade, that game's short. So you might as well definitely just set some time aside, not be around or be around only people that you know that won't be constantly, you know, jabbing at the jaw, and play that game and enjoy it. That's the kind of game. Yeah, I'm 100% with you, Jax. Thank you. Sunrash goes to say, and before we get into our first topic, Sunrash goes to say, gaming today is not about the games, but who have most exclusives, but they are not buying. Yes, and you can say that about everybody pretty much except Nintendo. like both camps, Xbox and PlayStation. You look at when the game comes out, and you look at how many people buy either of these things, and it's a goddamn shame. Yet those are the same people saying you don't buy games from the other side or something like that. It's ridiculous. It's a waste of time, and it's definitely not minding your own business and doing what you need to do. But anyways, clowns, any other thoughts on just, you know, the Death Stranding thing? We are going to talk about it a little bit further here in a minute, but any more thoughts before we go?
The only thing I just wish people would be is just honest, right? And Sunrash makes a good point here that it's no longer about the games today. Everybody argues about the exclusive, but I wish we can get back just to talking about the games, you know? And sorry to go a little bit retro here, but it reminds me of like back in the day, the arcades, right? Like you talked about the games that you played. Like if you played Street Fighter in the arcade or Mortal Kombat, you talked about the game. You didn't sit there and go, well, man, Midway is better than Capcom. No, you actually talked about the game, and you might have said, hey, I like Street Fighter more than Mortal Kombat, but it was about the games and not about the brands. So Sunrash, 100% with you there, man.
Yeah, definitely. I did want to throw out there, shout out to my brother Loke. They are dealing with some pretty hard times out in I mean, I'm gonna be straight up today because it's no joke. It's not funny or anything. Because we always joke around about him living in Texas and whatnot, but bro's in Mozambique, Africa. Maputo, Mozambique, Africa, right? and they are dealing with some government versus, like, one party versus another party situations going on over there. It's very similar to the things that we have here, but much more extreme and definitely life threatening in comparison. So honestly, I've been seeing people complaining all week about the United States, and like, I'm sorry, but shut the fuck up, really. And I'm not saying that nobody has any valid points. Sure, you got valid points, but let's remember that I feel like so many people think America's like the worst place ever, and it really isn't. It really isn't. I wouldn't even say like Mozambique is like the worst place ever, but like what I'm saying in particular is shit goes down in other countries in ways that it does not go here when things don't happen the way that people want. And like, I'm not going to sit here and show off a ton of different clips, but I am going to show off the clip that I showed to Italian Clowns just a little bit ago, just because I think it's important to know like the levity of this situation. And then we'll definitely get right back to gaming. But this is real shit that's kind of going on, and it affects my partner in crime that I'm here with on a regular basis. So check this shit out. Put this back. All right. This shit's sad. That's where Loke lives. That's the city. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna show from that. The shit's fucked up. And I'm really hoping that Loke is all right. I'm really, really hoping he's okay, because this is scary to kind of see. I understand this is like tear gas that's being shot, but like, I watched a few other streams and I actually heard not boom or pop, but cat, 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 cat. And that is not tear gas sounds. When you start hearing cat, 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 that is an actual gun going off. And bro, I don't know, man. I'm worried about him. But anyways, I don't want to sit here and be a downer. I just wanted to go on ahead and get that off my chest, because that's some real shit to me. Let's go on ahead and get back into what we were talking about just briefly before we move on to the next subject. But so as we were talking about, Death Stranding, after 5 years, 5 years later, quietly added one of PlayStation's most bizarre exclusives. It says PlayStation gamers or PlayStation players were the first to reap the benefits of Hideo Kojima's high-profile breakup with Metal Gear Solid publisher Konami. In 2019, Sony Interactive Publishing Kojima's first independent title, Death Stranding, a star-studded and deeply unique adventure game about reconnecting America after an inconceivable apocalypse. Its bizarre story and divisive gameplay made it one of PlayStation's most distinct exclusives. So we already talked about this game. We already know this game's been out for a little while. Here's the actual tweet from Kojima himself right here, saying Death Stranding Director's Cut, Xbox Series X and S edition and Windows PC edition on sale today at a special limited time offer, 50% off. And it says click for more details, yada yada. But that came out, as you see down here, with a timestamp of 5 a.m. this morning, which is mad early. He made sure to get it out to all of us as we were waking up, so we could roll over and see this goodness. But I got to ask you, clowns, with this news coming out, and from what I've heard, the reason behind it, which I'm sure is listed here in the article, Kojima got to get his actual IP from PlayStation. He was able to like buy it back from him. Is that correct? Or do you know?
I heard the same thing. I heard that's the reason why we see it on Xbox today. But it makes me think that maybe the franchise really wasn't that valuable to PlayStation if they were willing to sell it back to them.
That's possible. I mean, I could totally see where you're coming from with that. And I believe, 505 Games is the one that published this one out to Xbox. It wasn't PlayStation. Although when you still turn on the game, it still says Sony Interactive Entertainment, right? I'm sure they're reaping some benefits out of it. I don't know, though. Do you think they're reaping any benefits out of it?
Well, if he bought it back
Then
from
probably
them,
not.
then probably not. Unless we don't know all the details. Like sometimes, we never truly know all the details behind the doors, what happens and whatnot. But I don't think Sony would have ever allowed a title like that to go to Xbox if Kojima really didn't purchase it back.
Fair enough. Well, I'm kind of curious what the kind of situation is going on, because I've also seen that OD is possibly purchased by him as well, and could possibly be showing up on PlayStation day one. That's something I honestly wouldn't be too surprised about. Would you?
No, wouldn't be surprised at all.
Now, with this, director's cut coming out to Xbox, do you think, Carlo, that Death Stranding 2 is going to be day one on Xbox, or do you think there's still going to be some sort of exclusivity clause?
Well, if he purchased the franchise back from PlayStation, then I would imagine that it could go on both, unless they pay for an exclusivity deal at that point. But it really depends here, because then I know that we've seen pictures of Kojima with, I think, Greenberg in the past, and people were cheering it on, saying like, oh, big things are coming from Kojima and Xbox. So what if he ended up signing some type of exclusivity deal with Xbox? And hear me out here, I'm probably going way too far in the future, but what if Xbox saw value in Kojima's franchise for TV rights?
I mean, what if? I tell you what, if... Well, the thing to me is what would Xbox really have to offer if they wanted him for those rights? I mean, because if you look at, I mean, their most recent show with Fallout did great, but their recent show before that was not so great.
True. You mean,
Even though I loved it. Yeah, Halo.
Yeah, Halo. Yeah, I mean, you're right, because I think the issue with Halo was that it didn't really catch on with newer generations. It was really the fans, Xbox fans, and the Halo fans, but not the new people coming into the franchise. I think with something like Death Stranding, it's kind of like on the borderline of horror and suspense. So, and horror is doing really well right now. And just a little off topic, but Terrifier 3 is like one of the highest rated money-making horror movies that doesn't even have a rating. So horror is like in right now because it's low cost to make, and the return is valuable. So if they turn Death Stranding into some type of suspense / sci-fi horror, it could do very well.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I could see that. I just find it. I would find it funny that Xbox. I'd find it funny that Xbox would have that, seeing that Sony literally has, like, Sony Pictures and everything like that. I would think that Kojima would want to rock with that company if they're willing to possibly, and I don't see them like turning down having a show from him.
True. Yeah. No, I can see that.
Yeah, so I'm catching what you're, uh, I'm catching what you're saying, but I'm just like thinking about it, like, like that would be a weird turnaround to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to work with Xbox, and I'm going to work with Xbox because of movie or TV rights or something like that, in comparison to where you just came from, that has a ton of movie stuff always happening over there. But anyway, so that is pretty much the gist of what I wanted to talk about when it came to Death Stranding. There was some other things that we wanted to talk about today as well, and one thing I just kind of wanted to throw out there real quick that was recent, that came to that came to Xbox, but it didn't come to Xbox console. It actually came to PC, and that is StarCraft. 1 and 2 are now available to be able to play it on Xbox PC Game Pass, and I'm certain you could probably purchase it on Xbox PC as well. But it says this week, StarCraft Remastered and the complete campaign to StarCraft 2 were added to the Xbox Game Pass PC edition. This includes all of the Wing of Liberty, Heart of the Swarm, and Legacy of the Void expansions for the popular RTS, as well as the Nova Covert Ops mission packs. With 2 simple clicks, these games can be yours. Now, I've never really been big into RTS games or StarCraft. The closest I ever got big into an RTS game was Starfleet Command, way back in the day, on like my Gateway Windows PC that I had when I was a kid. Did you ever get into any of the StarCraft games, Clowns?
I will say that I did for a little bit. I really liked playing it, but I don't remember much. I do remember playing it, right? But I don't remember much of it, if that makes sense. So I'm looking forward to like being reintroduced to the series and playing it again and getting into it, because I like Game Pass on PC. I really enjoy it, and that's where I play a lot of my Xbox titles now.
Okay. I know that it says as well here that you'll need to have the BattleNet launcher, which that kind of goes into another topic that we're going to talk about here shortly. But I got to ask you, for the StarCraft series, 1 and 2, and I know that there's been some sort of rumor about possibly making a action adventure version kind of StarCraft kind of game. Do you see them getting this ported over to console, or do you think that this is strictly going to be a PC thing?
That's a good question, because I think right now that moving those games to console would be very difficult with mapping the buttons properly. So I think for an extended time, we're just going to see it on PC. They could be working in the background trying to make it accessible for consoles. I don't know if it'll ever truly happen. Or they might just say, hey, hook a keyboard and mouse to your console so you can play it.
Yeah, I don't see why they just don't do that. Just hook a keyboard up to your console and play it, or else you can't play the game. That seems simple or easy enough for me, but maybe there's a lot more that goes into it outside of that. I don't know. As for the rumor, do you believe there's any truth to that, or do you think that they're just going to stick to RTS?
I think just sticking to RTS.
That's where we differ, because I think that there will be some sort of adjustment just to try to grab more players, especially if like these PC games or like the ports on PC that they got don't blow up. I think they're gonna blow up a little bit, but I'm not sure if they're gonna blow up the way that they think. So I think some sort of different way of playing that game and kind of getting into the world would be pretty helpful. But I don't know. We'll have to see. But anyways, what was I gonna say? So there was yeah. So the thing I wanted to move from that was this article that I got from MSN.com. Oh boy. Okay, cool. Show this tab. It says the Xbox app on Windows PC is moving in the right direction, but the pace of crucial usability updates is still critically too low. This was written by Jez Corden a couple days ago. How often do you use the PC app, Clowns? If ever.
I use the PC app all the time.
Okay, so how is it for you? I actually had somebody earlier hit me up and ask me serious question, because he plays mostly on PlayStation, so he had to say that before I thought he was trolling. Apparently, he felt the need to. But he said, serious question, because I was talking about how I purchased Death Stranding and how it's play everywhere or play anywhere. He was like, is the Xbox app actually good, or does it suck? And my response to him was, it works. It's not the best thing. It's kind of slow sometimes, and I feel like it updates or it needs to update a lot when I actually use it instead of just kind of updating in the background. But as for doing what I need it to do, it's fine. What are your thoughts on the Xbox launcher?
I think the Xbox launcher is fine. I don't have any issues with it. Yeah, no issues at all. They've done a lot to make it really good, and it just works. And it does what it's supposed to do. I don't have any issues joining Xbox parties. I don't have any issues launching games from the Xbox app, and I even play xCloud through the Xbox app on PC.
Okay. So I mean that's cool. I mean, that's a good thing to hear, that you're having less, if not any, problems with the actual app itself. I know the game bar can kind of be frustrating sometimes for some people. I know it is for my wife. She plays a lot on the PC. But as for myself, like I said, I use it to turn on games. I'm not hanging out in the app or like trying to do anything insane. I do know sometimes searching for stuff in it doesn't always pop up right away, and sometimes I need to close the app and turn it back on and then research the thing or check to see if there's any updates or whatnot. Like I had to do that today with Death Stranding on it, because it wasn't even showing that it was an available game, and then I restarted the app and it was there. But yeah, it's good to hear that they're making some sort of progress. Let's actually go to the article real quick and see if there's anything they have to say about it. He says the Xbox app on Windows 10 and 11 is the main conduit to the Microsoft gaming ecosystem on PC, pulling together services like Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Cloud Gaming, and core PC games from the Microsoft Store into a single place. However, it's been the subject of much criticism. I feel like I've been bashing Xbox app for years at this point, although I have to give credit where it's due. Microsoft has stuck with the app and improved it immeasurably since its initial launch, depreciating the old Windows 8 Xbox app of yore inexplicably through some features that were present in the old Windows 8 app are still missing from the new Xbox app, which is as baffling as it is frustrating. Recently, Microsoft updated the app again, revamping the home screen to give more prominence to titles that aren't part of PC Game Pass while giving it a bit of speed boost. Like I was saying, it felt mad slow for me in particular. But anyways, going back, Microsoft has also shipped new features to boost its usability on PC handhelds like the ROG Ally. I wonder if it works any better on my Steam Deck. I don't know. I haven't checked yet. But anyways, the glacial pace of updates has once again risen to the forefront of discussions given the massive success of Call of Duty Black Ops 6, which is, of course, in PC Game Pass. More users than ever are flooding into the app and discovering that it's not exactly a premier experience. So let's go down to where he says a variety of small annoyances and crucial missing features. He says the issue with the Xbox app for PC range from small to large. At least the number of truly large issues has greatly diminished from its previous incarnations. At least now it's not crashing, hitching, or struggling with downloads as was previously the case. But there is still a collection of irritants that shouldn't be a factor in 2024. And here's some that he lists. He said, I'm not a massive fan of the library feature Xbox has set up with a big empty play later banner taking up excessive space, particularly if you don't plan on using it. It would be far simpler just to let users pin games at the top of the list instead of having a large empty section taking up half the screen by default. Perhaps Microsoft has telemetry data suggesting people love this feature, but I also doubt it. It would be nice to have at least the option to remove it. Even below that, the library section itself isn't instrumental either. If you filter by games you own, it annoyingly also considers Game Pass titles to be games you own, which is true. Considering the vast majority of the games on the app are in Xbox Game Pass, it can be hard to find titles that you truly do permanently own. Differentiation of and sorting games are a general issue within the app. It's an absolute nightmare trying to figure out which games are actually support. I think he meant to say support right here. It says sports, but support cross progression feature, for example. Microsoft previously used the branding Xbox Play Anywhere for titles that were buy once, play anywhere, complete with cloud saves across Xbox, PC, and soon mobile via cloud too. However, games that do support some of the cross progression are often missing the tag. Call of Duty Black Ops 6, for example, does support cross progression, but there's absolutely no mention of it whatsoever on the app itself. Another significant ongoing issue with Xbox is how cloud saves are handled or mishandled, as the case may be. As Microsoft moves increasingly towards a cross-platform future, it will become your save files that become central to your experience rather than the endpoint upon which you experience them. This month, Microsoft plans to let you play Xbox games you own via the cloud, even if they're outside of Xbox Game Pass. However, a genuinely irritating experience is around the corner for anyone who tries this feature. So, do you not have any of these issues that he's listed off as one of yours, or you just don't give a damn?
When it comes to, like, let's say curating your stuff to see what you own versus what's in the, in the Game Pass library, that's a little difficult. Like, it's not up in your face to let you know. Like, you have to go searching for things that you own. Like, I know I own Ara History Retold, right? But it doesn't tell me that unless I go searching for it. Now, there is a section in there called My Library. And if you go to My Library, it will show you, there's a thing where you can click Own Games, and it tells you all the games that you actually own.
Right. Yeah. I've seen that section in there where it says like the games that you actually own, but it does mix up, from what I know, Game Pass games with your games. There might be a filter there. I'm not sure or not, but I know that that's there at the forefront, and that can kind of be a little frustrating.
Well, like if I choose owned, right? These are all the games I actually do own. So, but it's like I said, like you have to click the My Library tab and then go there. Like you can't just go to the home thing and then look at, let's say, like, I don't know, a little section that says, hey, these are your games that you own. These are games in the cloud. These are games in Game Pass. Like, it doesn't really push that out there in your face unless you go digging for it.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that's really what I had for the whole Xbox app and stuff like that. Like I said, it can be a better, it can get better, but so can anything else, right? But it's definitely come from being a little rough around the edges. I definitely think it's better than it was not long ago. But the last thing that we have for today, I believe, the last thing that we have for today is going to be this little thing right here. Let me get this on the screen so y'all can see it as well. And it's just like the games that are supposed to be coming soon to Xbox Game Pass and whatnot. So I see that they brought this goofy ass game that won't stop bothering and tricking us whenever we go to see shit on like showcases and whatnot. That goddamn Goat Simulator is coming back out again. And this is the remastered one, which I think they're just trolling people because of all of the remasters and stuff going out lately. But they also got Metal Slug Tactics, which I'm not interested in really. Flight Simulator 2024, which I am absolutely interested in. They're bringing back Turnip Boy because that was in Game Pass prior, and I thought Go Mecha Ball was in Game Pass prior, but it might have just been an Ultimate. But now it's going to be in Standard with the Rewinder and Harold Halibut. So yeah. Any of these games sound interesting to you?
Well, Turnip Boy robs a bank. I thought that was pretty cool. I know it's like a really quick kind of it's not like a AAA game or anything. It's probably like a low end AA game, but man, I loved it. Goat Simulator I thought was fun for its time. I don't know if I go to play it now, if I feel like it's going to hold up. It's been a while. Metal, what is it? Metal Slug Tactics. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to that. So I'm going to play that just because I like the Metal Slug in the arcades. The StarCraft, I'm going to check it out. Yeah, but you know what though? Like, I feel like at the same time, it's not like it's not mind blowing stuff that they're throwing in there. Like, I wish sometimes that they would come back with like these massive titles. It's not there. It's not there, man.
Oh, you're just saying like the titles aren't that enticing?
Yeah, it's not like wow, look at these bangers. You're gonna get to play this. It's just, it is like mediocre stuff. I mean, it's not bad, but it's nothing to write home about.
No. I see where you're coming from. I personally am very excited for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I think that's going to be a banger, and I still enjoy playing the last Microsoft Flight Simulator. I download it on and off my PC all the time, but I see what you're saying. Like, and what you may or may not have noticed, Flight Simulator comes out a day before what game?
That's a good question. I don't notice that. Yeah, what game?
Stalker.
Interesting.
And they didn't put that on this list.
Huh, okay. It's, you know what though?
Ray G with the $2 super chat says, "Stop the cap. This is padding and reused games."
Listen, I will say that Microsoft makes one of the best flight simulators out there. I mean, even going back to the old days on PC, it was really popular. But I'm going to say this. It's a niche title. Like, it's not something that if it wasn't in Game Pass that a lot of people would go out and buy. I think it does well because it's in Game Pass and people buy add-ons and then some new people try it and they like it, so they buy it. But is it really that much of an improvement over the last Flight Simulator? Do we know what the differences are going to be?
Have you not looked into it at all?
No, because
I could tell.
Yeah, it's, I played the last one and it was neat for a little bit. And then when I couldn't land the plane, I kept crashing. I was like, yeah, it's just not for me.
So I am particularly very excited for this Flight Simulator, and it's because it's not going to be like all the other flight simulators. Let me describe what I mean by that. This game is going to have actual things to do in it. Other than just, okay, I'm flying to Bermuda and flying back. Now you're going to be able to do search and rescue missions. You're going to be able to do like firefighting missions, which I think is pretty cool. So like you'll be able to do like air firefighter stuff. You'll be able to do races in the game. There's a lot more that they're adding in this that wasn't ever in flight simulators prior. So that's why I'm particularly excited for this one, because it seems more like a game this time instead of just a plane simulator. Like you're actually able to get out of your plane in this one.
I'm gonna go with Ray T in the chat. He says this isn't Flight Simulator. It'll be Flight Horizon. Yeah, it sounds like it may have the enticement of what the original Flight Simulators had to people, but then it turns it arcadey with these. If you do, plane races and stuff. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. They could have just made a thing called Flight Horizon and kept Microsoft Flight Simulator separate. And I don't know. I'm
Not
with
exactly.
Ragey in this.
because
I'm
they're
a
using like they updated all the graphics and everything. Like I watched a few gameplay previews or showcases of it where people got invited out to go play the game and try it out and stuff like that. And like those guys are pretty serious about it, and they were showing like last versions, like the last Flight Simulator versus this one, just the way that things are looking texture wise and whatnot, and it looks way better. It does. So I see why they improved and made a new one, but then they're adding all these extra features in it. You can call it a Flight Horizon, Flight Sim, whatever the hell. I'm with it. I'm excited for it. I'm not saying that this is like clowns. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm saying that it's still probably going to be niche. It's not probably that part of it's probably not going to change. But what I do think is going to change is the way people perceive Flight Simulator. Like it won't be just I download it to fly a plane and that's it. Like there's going to be other things that you could do to actually have fun with it. And I'm hoping that they make it, which I don't know if this is possible or not, but I'm wondering if there'll be an opportunity for you to do like multiplayer with like firefighter missions and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like you're flying a plane and the other person's flying a plane and we're both like trying to take care of this forest fire or something like that, right? I think that would be next level. But I mean, I totally see what you're saying. Like it's not a Call of Duty. It's not a God of War. It's not a Fable or Perfect Dark or anything. It's still a simulator, and it's still probably gonna reach out and grab the people that really love this type of game. But I think it is going to be a lot more attractive than the last one.
Do you think though this is now going to separate the fans of the game, because you're like you have the hardcore flight sim fans that liked it because they could realistically feel like they're flying a plane and land and see things, and then you're bringing arcade aspects to it that like people that on like Forza Horizon might like, and it's going to split the fan base into two different kind of things. Do you think it's going to harm it, or do you think it's going to help it?
I think it's going to help it because, in my opinion, I still think you're going to be able to do all the things that you were doing before. Who's in your way? I mean, it's the whole Earth and you in a plane and you flying where you want to. It's not like somebody's going to be able to just disrupt your flight and just like break your plane or something like that. Like, and I'm not sure. I know you could get in your own private servers and stuff like that in the previous Flight Simulator. So I don't see why anybody that was rocking hard for Flight Simulator to feel offended or feel like they're not cared. Now, the only time I'd feel like they might not be cared about is if they start to take away some of the features that were maybe in the last game to make it more arcadey. Then I think they'd have something to argue about. But like, if they still have all the same features from the old one, plus more new ones and improved ones, then I don't see what they'd really have to complain about. You know what I mean?
Okay. I'm just thinking, how are they going to separate the two different modes? Like, are you going to go, let's say that I go into the game and let's just play devil's advocate here. Let's say that I'm a hardcore flight sim fan. I like playing single player, right? Is it going to force like a cross play, multiplayer kind of thing, where if I'm flying solo to like Brazil, all of a sudden I'm going to see, I don't know, somebody out there to my right, and they're like, they come up on my screen and their avatar is like, hey, you want to race? And I'm like, wow, this just ruined my experience of going to Brazil. I want to see what's going on in South America. But now I gotta look at this guy's avatar and this plane in my face. Like, do you know how they're gonna do it?
I just highly doubt it's going to be like that. I don't know how they're going to do it though, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you, yo, this is the way it's going to happen. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be like the thing in Horizon where you can just court somebody randomly and just start bugging them. And plus, you got to remember, this is like the entire world, and for people to be bumping into you like that would mean that there are a ridiculous amount of people playing.
True. No, you got a point there. They would have to create separate servers if they decide to do something like that. It would become horrendous. Your sky would fill up with everything.
Yeah, it'd be a mess. It'd be a beautiful disaster to me. But like, it would be a disaster for those people that don't want to deal with other people. But like I said, I remember you being able to make like an offline kind of game to where you don't have to be bothered with anybody and whatnot. So I don't see why they wouldn't push that forward to continue to be available. But hey, we will find out. We will find out. But like I was saying, I feel like it's really interesting that they didn't put Stalker on here, seeing that it comes literally a day after Flight Simulator, if I'm right. I'm a double check real quick. So and I'll let you guys check with me. All right. So I'm right here. Flight Sim 2024 release date. All right. November 19th. There it is right there. Stalker 2 release date. The day after. You see what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah,
that's the 19th.
That's interesting.
That's the 20th.
Does that mean there's going to be, does that mean there's going to be an issue? Is there going to be delay? It has me a little nervous because I really want to play Stalker, but now I'm kind of thinking like, why didn't they push Stalker now?
I'll tell you why, in my opinion. I think they did that on purpose because they want to really, they don't want Stalker to be diluted with anything else. Seeing that everything that's happened in Ukraine and everything, and how Xbox went on the forefront and had them, with the documentary and whatnot for GSC. So I think that, I see what you mean. Kind of has me a little bit worried too, but at the same time, I think they also may want to give them the grace of being like, you guys are coming out and everybody can only see your game right here. They don't see Flight Sim. They don't see, Metal Slug. They don't see, I'm not sure if they want their game right next to Turnip Boy. You know what I'm saying? Especially since they, had to delay this game repeatedly. There's been a war over there. There's, a whole documentary about it. And, they've recently talked about how they're selling, the like Ultimate Edition or whatever for like $200 or something like that, where you get a bunch like action figures and stuff like that with it, which it seems pretty dope. I see Sour Blow in the comments right here saying, I got my collector's edition. That's the one I was talking about. You can't wait for that. Shout out to you, Sour Blow. Thanks for popping up and sliding through. But yeah, so do you agree, or are you just flat out nervous?
I'm a little concerned, right? Because we see when it's something like this. Stalker's been kind of like a big thing in the past, advertised in some ways to let people know, hey, it's coming. This is an anticipated title, and now it's like it's flat. The news is flat. It's like, stale bread or flat soda. So where's the hype for it? We should have hype for it. We should be excited for new games like that.
When would be the deadline for you to like be in full panic mode for this game?
I don't know, because listen, this is a good question. I don't have an answer, but I will tell you
Mine
this:
is next Friday.
next Friday.
If they
How
don't say anything by next Friday, panic mode.
See,
Because then you're less. Because then you're what? Let
one
me
thing
see.
I will say.
1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're 5 days away from launch.
Yeah, it just feels like every time something good is gonna happen, people kind of like get disappointed because it's like you do something good and then 3 things bad happen. You know, when it comes to Xbox, unfortunately, it just feels like they shoot themselves in the foot all too often.
Yeah, the pain is. We could still feel it.
Yeah, I didn't just
past
stub my
situation.
big toe; I stubbed off 5 toes on both feet. You know?
Oh man, Ray Chi makes a pretty good point. He's even though I think this is not ideal, he says we don't need to worry. Stalker 2 will attract old Stalker fans, Metro 2033 fans, and Fallout fans. I agree with that, but at the same time, that should not be what you're relying on. Like, that's cool that you're anticipating those fans to hold your shit up, but at some point, I mean, the fans can only advertise a little bit. I mean, we can, word of mouth may be the best form of advertising, but showing out and doing everything that you can and all the other aspects definitely makes it better. Don't just sit there and expect you and your mama and your uncle and your grandfather to tell everybody that if you had a podcast, you would tell more than just your family members, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same thing with this game. It's like this game, you'd expect more than just the old Stalker fans, Metro and Fallout fans to know. You'd expect Microsoft to be out there screaming from the rooftops, "Yo, we got this brand new game." I haven't given up hope, like I said, until next Friday. Next Friday, if they haven't said anything yet, I'm worried. But I do think that they're going to say something before the end of next week. Hey, get ready to check this thing out. It comes out, I believe it's next Wednesday. If I'm gonna double check real quick. Wednesday. Next Wednesday, or not next Wednesday. The Wednesday after next. My bad. Not the 13th, the 20th. So yeah. That. I'm excited, but now Carlo got me a little nervous, just a little bit. But I think I'll be all right.
Ray Chi, the chat is cracking me up.
Yeah, he's a shot in the foot. Xbox doesn't have legs anymore. Oh my goodness, mad disrespect. But they kind of earned it. So it is what it is. They gotta fix their own image, and right now the way they're doing it, Clowns is saying that he doesn't really like it for this particular IP. He feels like they should be loud about it already, and I can't say that I completely disagree with him. But yeah, we'll just have to see. But that's really all I have for today's show. I don't like to try to make the Thursday show too long, especially since wifey here and everything. I'm trying to kick it with her, and I like to try to respect my guests now instead of having these 3-hour shows on Thursdays. Now it's just about an hour. But anyways, Clowns, thank you so much for sliding through. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Sour Blow, I see you. Ron Slusher just sliding in. Ray Cheap, let me see. I seen Drawn TJ up in here, Spider-Man, Big Mad Mo, Dave Reezy, and to anybody else, Sunrash, and to anybody else that I may have missed, thank you guys for coming out. Clowns, before we get out of here though, please let everybody know where they can find you and the stuff that you got going on up up soon. And then I have a question for you after you get done with that.
Sure. You can all find me at 4GQ TV. We just did an interview with Kobe Elliott, a voice actor. It's going to be really cool. It's going to be up soon. Shortly, he's also a gamer, comic book enthusiast, so you got to check it out. And real quick, I just want to give a shout out to Rebecca Rogers. She has one of the top 100 podcasts on Spotify, and she's part of my YouTube creators group. So she had me on an episode, and that will be edited and out shortly. But I think it's called Rebecca's World on Spotify.
Okay. So shout out to Rebecca and her world on Spotify. And shout out to Carlo and Italian Clowns for sliding through. I appreciate him. Got to meet brother in person back in what was it, April for PAX East.
Yep.
So that was dope. And while I'm on the topic of showcases, I need to ask, what's the next showcase that you're going to be at? Do you think? Or what show is the next thing that you're going to be at?
Not sure. We put out our feelers to several different Comic Cons coming up. San Diego Comic Con, WonderCon, MegaCon. Those are usually the big ones that we like to go to. And there may be some stuff with Paramount coming up. I'm not sure yet.
Okay, so still doing a little bit of R&D on that one.
Yep.
Gotcha. I fortunately am going to be in LA in December.
Oh, nice.
I'm pretty excited to check out the Game Awards, go out there, shake some hands, meet some people. I was hoping you were going to go out there so we could kick it, but it doesn't sound like it. It's all right, though.
No, yeah. No, my wife took away my California authority for a while because I was going WonderCon, San Diego Comic-Con, and then the Xbox YouTube event. I was out there for Black Ops, so yeah, she said no more traveling to California this year.
Oh, you were out there recently?
Yeah, I was there for the Black Ops 6 launch event, and well, it was before the launch, but yeah, that's what it was for. And then at the same time, they had the Indiana Jones and the Great Circle event going on, just in a different room. It was really crazy.
That's pretty cool. That's wild. Congratulations for getting out there and doing your thing, man. I'm doing my best to get outside. It ain't cheap. I ain't getting invited to nothing. I'm paying everything through my goddamn pocket. So, so I'm doing my thing, though. I'm trying my best. But thanks for being here again. Thanks to everybody that showed up this evening. Make sure you check us out tomorrow. Hopefully, Loke will be back. I have no idea. I haven't heard anything from him. More than likely, he won't be. So expect him not to be. But I will definitely be throwing on the show. Bull sitting for all of us tomorrow, so it'll at least be me, Matt Likes Games, Cozy Beluga, Mental 9 Hours, like a 50-50 half the time, so I won't even promise that he's going to be there, but I will definitely have a show, so keep an eye out for that, and hopefully I get it correct this time so I don't accidentally make a thumbnail for something else that everybody shows up to, and then I make a whole new show like I did today. Complete fuck up. That was all on me. But anyways, thanks everybody for sliding through, coming out and checking out this episode of Xbox vs. the Gamer. This is your boy Ham Solo signing out from TSWS Gaming, letting you know to keep it gaming or keep it moving. Mike Johnson, I see you, brother, but you're too late. Run it back. Peace out, y'all.